Welcome, my Academy family, to Unit number 6. Now, Unit number 6, entitled Friendships and Differences, is happening during the month of February. Now, the month of February, as you all probably know, is the shortest month out of the year. However, I believe that this is perhaps one of the most important topics that we are going to cover this entire year. Now, our EQ for the unit is, of course, how do I figure out relationships? How do we actually navigate this incredibly complex world of getting along with one another? Now, the way to start out this unit, I figured I needed to start with a story time with Mr. Hunsinger. Now, this is actually not a story that I like telling because it really shows something about myself that I am completely and utterly ashamed of. So, the story starts when I was in 8th grade. Now, these are two photos of me when I was in the 8th grade. And as you can see, I was not exactly the textbook definition of a stud. I was small, I was skinny, I had a big head, I had giant ears. I was nowhere close to manly at this point in my life. Now, this led me into a lot of self-consciousness issues. So, unfortunately for me, I decided to take my self-consciousness issues out on other people. Now, I went to school with this girl. Now, looking back, there was really nothing wrong with her. I don't know why I chose this girl, but for some odd reason, she was my outlet for all of my insecurities. So I wanted to be this big tough guy, right? I was small, I was skinny, and I was very, very aware of these facts. So I wanted to make my ego inflate a little bit bigger, a little bit better. Now, I had no idea what was actually going on in this poor girl's head. I never even stopped to consider it. I just wanted to make myself feel a little bit better about myself. So I went up to this girl one day and I called some stupid insult at her. I went up in front of my friends. They were all standing behind me. And I pointed at her and I called her some dumb name like, "You're a big idiot," or something like that. Now, of course, all of my friends laughed and they're all sitting there and everybody thought that I was so funny because I was insulting this girl and I was being a giant bully. Now, unfortunately for me, this girl walks away. She looks at me in the face and she walks away. And at first, it seems like it was unfazing to her. She looks back at me and she sort of thinks like, oh, okay, whatever. You can call me whatever your names you want. But the problem for me is she walked to the end of the bench. She walked to the end of the gymnasium and sat at this bench. And she just starts crying her eyes out. Now, I didn't realize at the time, but I actually did have a heart because this made me realize that actually I was the big idiot. Because I was the one actually bullying this person, and I began to feel terrible about myself. Now, who knows what ended up happening to this girl? I'd like to think that she probably grew up and became some supermodel somewhere making millions and millions of dollars. But still, nearly 20 years later, I still think about this bad relationship that I had with this person. I was the bully. I was making fun of this person for really no reason other than to make myself feel better about myself. Now, throughout the entirety of this unit, we're going to be talking about relationships. But we're going to not just talk about one type of relationships. We're going to talk about family relationships. Okay, how do you get along with your family? Sometimes the people that you hate the most are actually the ones that you love the most. We, of course, are going to be talking about friendships. Okay, how can you actually have successful, thriving friendships that are not one-sided, but you are mutually caring about one another? Now, we're going to get into a topic that a lot of you kids are going to like move in your chair right now, like, oh my God, Hunsinger, are we really going to talk about it? Absolutely. We will be talking about dating relationships and how can you actually navigate a successful dating relationship. What does a good partner look like and how can you be that good partner? Now, I need you all to remember, there is no such thing as a perfect relationship. It's impossible to have. However, there are plenty of ways to do things wrong in a relationship This unit is designed to help you all become better people. We need to identify those wrong things and figure out, okay, how can we lead successful relationships in our lives? So kids, I am so looking forward to this unit with you. We will be talking about some very real things that will hopefully stick with you forever. Love you, kiddos.